What's up, everyone? Welcome into Wednesday's Attacking Third episode. Or, excuse me, it's Monday. Guys, that is the type of Monday
Incredible.
I'm
Let's
having.
That is the most Monday thing
go.
ever.
Let's
Holidays.
go. Hey, well, I don't even know who I am, what day of the week it is, but I know I have Sandra Herrera here and Christine Cupo. I'm Lisa Carlin. We are chatting all about U.S. women's national team today because they take on the Netherlands tomorrow. We are previewing it. Plus, FIFA's the best player of the year nominees have been dropped. We're going to talk all about them. And of course, we do, in case you missed it, fill you in on the news and notes that has been happening. Well, besides the brain fart that I've had this morning, Sandra, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Look, I'm not gonna lie. If it wasn't gonna be you, it was gonna be one of us forgetting the day. That tends to happen right out of a long holiday break. But I'm in it. It's officially December. I'm gonna probably be rocking every single Christmas shirt I own from on the
Love
show
it.
from here on out. Let's get it. Happy to be here with you guys as always.
Yeah, in my defense, I was doing pre-tapes before this, so I was talking, pretending it was every other day of the week. So
Yo,
whatever.
what are these excuses? Button it up, Carlin. Where is the professionalism?
Oh, Christine, I miss you. How are you? How's your Thanksgiving?
Oh man, everything's a blur. I too don't know what day it is, so I'm glad that you flubbed that before I had the opportunity. Thanksgiving was good, but like I also moved, so moving apartments is an absolute roller coaster. Just trying to settle in and figure out what day it is. But I just bought a calendar, so we're good.
Hey, you're one step ahead of me. Let's go. This is great. Thanks everyone for joining us. If you're with us live on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to us, join the conversation in the chat. Good morning, everyone. U.S. women's national team, ladies, they take on the Netherlands in their final match of 2024. Drop us your scoreline predictions in the chat because hey, if you're right, maybe you'll get something, maybe a shout out, maybe a prize. I don't know. Let us know your scoreline predictions. After the US played England on Saturday, Sandra and I jumped on, we recapped it, we chatted all about it. Christine, we didn't get your thoughts yet. It was a 0-0 draw between the US and England. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What's your takeaway from that game?
And I think why not both, right? So I didn't anticipate that we'd pull up with a 0-0 draw. I initially, I think boldly thought they'd come up with a 2-1 with the US winning. But I think there were positives to take away from it. I think that the top line functioned as I kind of anticipated it would. It's essentially a rookie. It's a little bit of experience, but again, not necessarily a top line that plays together typically. So a little bit of hiccups here and there. Fine. My initial reaction, I'd say like first 10 minutes was like, ooh, the movement looks good. We got to like some 1-2 passing. We've got a little bit of sauciness. I think that that got tempered a little bit. I think that some of the substitutions changed things. I think that that was a good sign. If this is a test, and it should be, it tells Emma, who's maybe ready to step up, who's better chemistry together. I thought that they looked good on the counter press. I think that there were positive points. I think the big blight that I don't think anybody's going to argue with me is the lack of finishing. I think that there I was a little bit surprised. Granted, England aren't a team that are going to roll over, although, they were really effective with their mid and low blocks.
Mhm. Yeah, the English midfield and low block, mid block was very effective against the US. That match ended, and the US only had 3 shots on target, 10 shots total. There was one off the post, I believe. There was moments where things got really close for the US. Now, in their final game, they will take on the Netherlands. It is a big day for Lily Johannes and her family because she recently announced that she will play for the U.S. women's national team. This is a young teenage midfielder. She lives in Netherlands, but was born in Virginia. But when she was 10 years old, moved to the Netherlands. This is a homecoming for her. She says she's going to play for the U.S. She now gets to play against the Netherlands in the Netherlands. The emotions have to be pretty high here, Christine, for Lily Johannes. You imagine she's going to have a pretty big contingency in the stands.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we'll get to this a little bit later, but I think that's one of the reasons. And I know this England match, we saw some starts come up that maybe were a little bit unexpected, at least for me. So I'm like, listen, if Emma is going to be tinkering and she's going to be pushing out starts that you kind of don't expect, maybe we see Lily start just as a statement, as like a hey kid, like you got this, vote of confidence, show them what you got, homecoming kind of a thing, which I would love that storyline. I want to like sink my teeth into that.
Well,
I
we did
think
that. We gave our predicted 11. So do you have her? Let's go, Christine. Take us through your predicted U.S. women's national team 11.
I do have her. I do have her. I think that well, here we go. Perfect little segue. So I think that I tinkered a little bit here again in the spirit of like what worked in this past game and just kind of trying to predict where Emma's head is at. I do want to see what some of the kids can do. I think Rose is really important there. I think Horan didn't have her greatest match last go. I think let Lily cook, you know. Jaden stepped up. She looked good and sharp. That back line was rock solid. In my head, a little bit, I wanted to see if I could plug and play Sam's. But I think that they just worked really well together. And if we're going to tinker in the midfield and the top line, Yaz came up big. I think she's really great, can play with both feet, really good at receiving the ball in tight spaces. Again, Alyssa Thompson, not afraid of 1v1s, and Lynn Williams for a little bit of that experience and a nose for a goal. She will find that toe poke. She will be unrelenting. I think that that's the best. I think the only other place where I had a big fat question mark, and this is an emotional question mark, is I think we give this last match to Alyssa Nair, but I am dying to see Fallon Tullis-Joyce between the sticks.
Interesting. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised. I really thought you were gonna put your girl Tullis-Joyce.
I was. So I tried to be a little bit tempered because you know how I think a lot of us have the problem of like aspirational starting 11s with the tempering of trying to be goddamn right. I just want to come on here and like puff my chest out and be like, see, I told you. But also, you got to ride the line. But yeah, if Fallon Tullis-Joyce gets, I want to start her. But I also feel like you have to give Alyssa the send off she deserves. So like, does that mean we waste a sub on a keeper? Like, it depends on how the game goes. Okay, we got to remember, like the last time that they played the Netherlands, this was also that wonky throwback where we have Savannah DeMello get the call up.
Exactly.
So
Christine, in the emotional aspect of Alyssa Nair, knowing this is her final game, how do you feel about teams giving them a big emotional send-off, perhaps wasting a sub on them versus just we have to play the game and we have to win? What side of the coin do you stand on?
I hate to say this because the emotional side of the game is what's so important to fans. It adds that extra layer of humanity. And I do think that someone as decorated as Alyssa Nair deserves the send-off. I think that eventually you need to be pragmatic. You need to see if one of these keepers is viable. Obviously, there are other keepers that weren't called up to this camp, Casey Murphy, Jane Campbell, that we know what they can do. I think it's important to see, what you can do in a game. So like, yeah, I do think you got to get somebody in the game and see how this all works out, especially if we keep that back line solid and we know it is. I think now's the time to try it.
I like the shout, Christine. Okay, good starting lineup. People on YouTube, they like it too. But Sandra, let's see yours. Do you have Alyssa Nair? Do you have Lily Johannes? These are the hot topic players right now. Take us through your starting 11.
They're taking on Netherlands. 100%. I've got Lily Johannes starting in this game, but I want to see rotation. There's a huge
big Hal in that midfield. I see you.
Huge opportunity here for Emma Hayes, her coaching staff, and really this collection of 24 players that she's brought into this European camp. So I've got Tullis-Joyce starting in net. There's no better send-off, I think, in my opinion, for Alyssa Nair than the Bright Lights of Wembley. I think maybe in the future they might do a little bit of like one of those games where they honor her at halftime. I don't think it's going to be in Europe. I think that's going to be back home in the States. So Tullis-Joyce getting the start for me. I want rotation in the back line. Give me Emily Sams. She's the best defender in 2024 for me. Mallinson alongside her. Davidson, if she's fit, hopefully she is. She's in this camp. Get some minutes. And Neischwanger on the other side at fullback. I've got Shaw, Johannes, and Hirschfeld and kind of a midfield trio here. And Thompson, Ali Setnar, and Yasmin Ryan to round out the attack. I want this front six to be vicious. We need goals. We got to see it. And Thompson, I thought, had a really, really good game against England, just was not able to find the back of the net on her own chances. Final pass, maybe just a little off at times. But Yasmin Ryan coming into that game really, really brought the juice. So I want to see that happening, maybe alongside Ali Setnar as well.
Sandra, after the U.S. played England, correct me if I'm wrong, you came on this Attacking Third show and you said that the back line for the U.S. was amazing. You don't have a single one of those players starting.
Wrestling. Enjoy your holiday.
You said y'all are good. Okay, sub out.
Thank you for your service. Enjoy it. What a 2024. Let me get that rotation in here. Let's go.
I like it. A lot of young players, though. A lot of young players. That could prove some question marks. How do you want them to be tested?
Well, for starters, I don't want to see them get pushed around. That was one thing you and I talked a little bit about in that England game. We felt like every once in a while we would see Lindsay Horan kind of get knocked off a little bit. Didn't like to see that. Don't let the midfield get bullied like that. And who knows, maybe Hal Hirschfeld is the one that can bring a bit of that crunch, right? And maybe kind of have that response. And this is going to be a different type of team in Netherlands. It's not going to be the same type of stuff that we're maybe seeing against England. But because of that is part of why I want to see some of this rotation. And at least with this personnel, for me, maybe it's not so much of a 4-3-3. Maybe it's like a 4-1-4. Like, it's maybe there's some shifting in between. But not only do I want to see this team not get bullied on the pitch, I want to see them manifest their attack into actual goals. It was absolutely the final piece that was missing in that England game. I thought with what they were being presented in the mid to low block, I thought they handled it mostly okay, but the goals just never came for them. And thankfully that's for the defensive side of things. But lots of rotation, I think for me, means I want to see some different things.
Goals is absolutely what's necessary for the U.S. in this game. I think the biggest holes is without triple espresso. No Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, Mallory Swanson called up to this camp. Where are the chances going to be created from? Who is going to score the goals? And we didn't see any of them in the last game for the U.S. And in this game against the Netherlands, my predicted starting 11 is going to score all the goals. They have to, because Yasmin Ryan came off the bench and had an electric game, especially her first 15 minutes. She changed everything. Creativity spark, energetic spark, going 1v1, creating shakeups in the front line. Yasmin Ryan deserves the start. Jaden Shaw also in the front line. And Alyssa Thompson. Thompson is getting her confidence back. Give her more time. Let's see what she can do. I've got a young, excited and hungry front three that I am going with. I have Lily Johannes, of course, earning and deserving the start in the midfield. I mean, she deserves this. Plus, she's going to have a little bit of nerves. She needs to learn how to manage those in big games against the Netherlands. I think this is the perfect time to test her and give her that experience. This is arguably like one of the biggest games she could play in her young career so far because of the stakes going against the Netherlands. Sam Coffey and Rose Lavelle in the midfield to help even things out with some of the veterans there. And across the back line, I have Jenna Neiswanger and Emily Sam slotting in from the last game. The only two changes I have in the defensive five, but with Germa and Sams in those center back roles, they need to be on point. I think that duo of Sams and Germa is the future defensively of the U.S. women's national
love that.
team.
You did what I did not have the cojones to do.
I had to, Christine.
I was like, yo, am I pulling Sonnet? Am I pulling
Sonnet? Sonnet had an incredible game, and Sonnet is at the top of her game right now, but I don't know how much longer she's going to play in that center back role, right? She could drop higher. She can play in all these different roles. Whereas you have someone like Sams, who is very much at the start of her career. She's coming off the best club season that she has ever had, that we've seen as a defender in the NWSL in a long time. And I want them to start, gearing up together, and then Fox in the back line. It was hard for me to mess with this back line because Kruger, Fox, Germa, Sonnet, they had such a good game last time.
Yeah, I do like the thought of Sam's being back there tucked in with Fox, because we know Fox likes to get up and they can absolutely overlap each other. One can sit and be that anchor, one can just fly high.
Yeah.
And I do like to see more of that out of Fox.
Yeah.
I also have Alyssa Nair starting in goal, which been a bit of a topic of conversation.
It has been. And look, as much rotation as I have, I feel like you guys are probably a little bit more on track for what we're going to see.
Well, I was a little bit more conservative, which is like wild for me because, me, world-renowned selector of Yasmin Ryan midfielder, putting her in the top line.
I mean, yeah, just throw Alyssa Nair as the 9. Why not?
Yeah.
But as
Why
her
not?
last game, I think she is going to get the start. And then maybe a sub be used to take Nair off, give her the leaving applause and flowers that she deserves, because as a keeper, you never really get subbed off. I think that could be kind of interesting.
I feel like it would be a good sub off, like clap off moment, just to give her, because like for her to finish a game, it's just like any other regular game for her.
In the
Yeah.
Netherlands, I'm like,
I know.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
we've given our predicted lineups. If you're with us on YouTube, there's a poll at the top of the chat. Go vote for whose lineup is the best. Sandra,
Let me go vote
Christine,
for myself. Where
or
do I go?
myself. We're going to give you those results when we get back after this quick break, because we are still diving into Netherlands against the US. Stick with us. Hey, welcome back to Attacking Third. The U.S. are taking on the Netherlands Tuesday, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch it on TNT. We just took you through our predicted starting 11s, and you could vote for them on YouTube with us. I didn't just do this voting just because I could win, but I did win. Lisa, 58% are
I
going
think this
with
thing is
my
rigged.
lineup.
This is rigged. What do I have to offer the chat, man? Like, do I have to
Landslide.
just like buy you iced
go.
coffee so we can all vibe together, caffeinated?
Christine, you got to not put Jaden Shaw in the midfield, and then they'll vote for you. Let's go.
I guess, man.
You know,
I thought people were gonna feel the bold rotation. I guess not. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. No hate. Christine and Sandra, they split the vote at 21%. The other half
it's
of it.
fine.
I
don't
took half of it.
I don't take these
Equal.
things personally at all. I will be getting you coal for Christmas, Lisa. It's fine. It's good. It's fine.
Well, I take the wins very personally, as the U.S. has to do against the Netherlands. They have to. The final game of 2024 for U.S. against the Netherlands. Keys to the match, Sandra. What do you need to see from this U.S. women's national team side, especially against a powerhouse like the Netherlands?
It's so simple. And I hate to simplify it, but we got to see some goals. They cannot come out of this window. They can't close out 2024 without any. There is no triple espresso. I think that was probably the biggest opportunity that this roster knew that they had going into this camp. Who's going to step up? Who's going to have that shining moment without a Rodman, Smith, or Swanson in the mix? But I would argue, coming out of that England game, maybe there's a little bit of a sub opportunity here for the midfield to shine a little bit more, which is maybe why I want to see some more of that rotation. I want to see a middle third here that not only sets tempo but helps sustain that tempo and really help control the game. And fingers crossed, it's going to be Lily Johannes leading the way in that.
How much pressure is going to be on Johannes and the U.S.'s midfield? Because against England, the U.S. and their midfield had to work pretty hard. How is that going to be different against the Netherlands, or will it be the same?
Well, I think for me, there's always going to be some layer of pressure, but I think that's what makes Johannes such a special player and makes so many others maybe kind of rate her as highly as they do. Because despite her being such a young player, we're still talking about a teenager here. She's playing in these games with a level of gamesmanship that you see amongst more experienced, more seasoned and decorated players. She is out there and doesn't necessarily look panicked by any means. And we've gotten to see that in a couple of what could be considered maybe high stakes games. We got to see her during Champions League last campaign and what she could produce for Ajax, and not really intimidated by going up against opposing teams that did have those experienced players. And we got to see her make her debut in ahead of the Olympics. It was in June, where she wasn't intimidated by that either. And you're talking about a very specific window of time in which you as a young player are tasked to try to deliver. And she did that. We're talking about coming into the final 15 minutes of a game and head on a swivel, already looking to connect immediately. We're watching long, swift balls over the top to Rodman. And then this player not only is connecting, but getting a goal on her debut. So making history as she goes. So, of course, is there going to naturally be some layer of pressure that comes with that? Yeah, of course. But I think this is a player that can match that energy.
I hope so. I think the pressure is there. The skill is definitely there for Johannes, and she has the US's and Emma Hayes and the team's belief behind her, which is only going to help Johannes. For the US in this match, attacking wise, they have to be so keyed in on their game plan. They have to do a really good job of creating chances in a variety of ways, getting the ball wide, creating set pieces, drawing corner kicks, sending crosses into the box, using the central channel of the field with Lily Johannes, Rose Lavelle, getting on the ball in between the half spaces, driving at the back line, little curl outs. Of course, it all depends on the personnel that Hayes goes with, especially in the attack. But there has to be moments where the Netherlands feels like they are just suffocated with how much attack and chances created that the US is throwing at them. That would be, even if it ends, I think, this is a crazy prediction, but even if it still ends scoreless for the US, say a 0-0 draw, but the US create so many chances and have so much momentum and opportunities, and they hit the post and they're just all over the place creatively, it'll be a step in the right direction, especially from the England game. Because without triple espresso, you have to have players that can create magic in the front line. Christine, when you think about it, whether it's your starting front three or front four in the attack for the US, what needs to happen in this game against the Netherlands?
Freaking finishing, man. Like, they know how to do it. We know they know how to do it. I think that the second half, obviously, like the creation of chances, Yasmin Ryan was a huge improvement from the starting lineup. It just, they need to figure out boot, back and net, because we know that they can all do it individually. Alyssa Thompson's been on a hot streak, and this is just me talking about my top line because I have selfishly already blocked all of yours out of my brain. But yeah, I mean, we know that Lynn has come up big. She can get the job done. The storyline with Lily Johannes, if she were, I'm just saying, to pop in and score a goal this game,
Oof.
I think I would lose my goddamn mind. No, I definitely would. I definitely would.
We all
I need this. Let's speak it all into existence. But yeah, I mean, obviously the goals can come from anywhere. We can have Jaden Shaw pull up, but I think that connection with the midfield and the top line needs to get better. I thought Rose was great last game. Maybe some of the switching up will improve that. But yeah, like ball back in net. We can do it. I know it. Like,
It's gotta happen.
let's get in there. You have players on the top. Okay, Alyssa Thompson's great at 1v1s. She's young though, right? Like, we know what she can do. Yasmin Ryan, again, a little bit less experienced. I feel like we need to have some experience in there. And that's why I know some of you in the chat are like, girl, not Lynn. But I think that Lynn adds a little bit of that foundation.
Yeah, and Lynn counter pressing against England was phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
As an organizational, as even just an organizational point, yes.
Right. But that's also because England had a mid to low block. Netherlands isn't going to do that. They're not.
No. And also, they're going to bring the physicality. That's the one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, because as somebody that supported physicality and like likes that rough and tumble hard tackling, like elbowing, like teeth gnashing, like Alyssa Thompson, that's a big ask for somebody that could become a target. We need somebody that can kind of knuckle up in there. That's where I think Sandra with that house shout was pretty sound. Even Lily, though, she's pretty good as like light and string beanie as she is. She's familiar. It's familiar terrain, like she's deceivingly strong, right? She's deceivingly strong and tough.
I'm not going to stand for the Lynn Williams slander. I'm going to just make this comment on it. And this is why we're placing so much emphasis on the goals. Because if this USWNT gets even one goal against England in the previous game, I don't think people are talking this way about Lynn Williams. Her counter pressing was 100% effective during that England game, and it was necessary for what they were presenting to the United States. They get a goal, maybe you're just like, look at Lynn Williams out there doing her job. And she was still out there doing her job. They just didn't get any goals to show for it.
There's a lot of slander happening in our chat. We're not going to stand for it, everyone. We're not.
Damn, man. I mean, like, I can understand the Haran chitter chatter because, like, she gets it either way. But, like, Lynn, fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk game changers for this US side. We've given our lineups. Who is maybe unlikely to start but needs to change the game, Sandra? Someone that you want to see get minutes, get time, get a cap, whatever it may be.
All right. Since you were the winner of the starting lineup poll,
say it louder for the people in the back.
My girl, winner. Look, I'm gonna go off of yours. So removing my bold 11, I think Ali Center gets into this game based off of your lineup, perhaps as a player of impact, and I want to see it. I think this is a player, I think in our preview, that I was really, really high on. And honestly, I think the coaching staff is high on as well. I'm going to just remind folks some of the chatter ahead of this window with Ali Sentnor. This is a player that the coaching staff has had their eye on for a little while, that they may be targeted as a player to get in more in the mix of that futures camp that we've been hearing about for January in the buildup to their plan for 2027 and 2028. But because of the 2024 that Sentnor continued to have, both for club and for country at the U20 level, they said, you know what, this kid here, maybe a little bit of schedule as far as her development and her talent. And they wanted to bring her in for these European friendlies. You're bringing in a talent that you have that much belief in. Get this kid some minutes. I want to see Center come in and have an impact.
And more than 4 minutes or 3 minutes at the end of the game, plus some stoppage time.
Correct.
What would be ideal? Like a 60-minute sub for Sentnor, Sandra?
Yeah, I'd like to. We're talking at least, give me at least 15 here.
I respect that. Christine, what about you? Non-starters, players that probably aren't going to start, but you need to see get minutes in this game to end 2024.
I mean, honestly, Fallon Tullis Joyce. Like, I know I didn't put her in my starting 11, but like, I want to see, based on her performance with United this season, how she's acclimated to WSL so quickly and has outperformed even her past form. Like, two words good today, Coop. Outperformed herself. I think I would like to see how she gels with this team. I know this isn't, the team per se, because obviously triple espresso, whatever, in its entirety. But I think I just want to see the chemistry. I want to see that she's able to command that back line, knowing how competent they are. I don't know that she's had that ilk of defending in front of her ever. And so I just want to see how this all works out.
Yeah. How about you, Lisa?
Lily Johannes, she gets a shout. Hal Hirschfeld's getting a shout in the chat. Ali Sentnor getting shouts. Defenders, my friends. Emily Sams, put her on the pitch, everyone.
Yes,
Let's see what Emily Sams can do against big competition like the Netherlands that are going to ask questions of the U.S. defensively, whether it's shots from distance, their physicality. How can Emily Sams handle the front line of the Netherlands and what they throw at this U.S. side? Give her time, give her minutes. I don't care if it's alongside Girma or Sonnet or whoever she's playing with. Give Emily Sams some time. Perhaps a sub off the bench if she doesn't get a start. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But Lily Johannes as well, but it has to be Emily Sams.
That's a great shout. I know we were already like beating that drum and ready to riot around Olympics because we wanted to see her legitimately get quality minutes. Like, let's go. She's ready. She's been a force, man. Like, how can you deny that all season long? And she like plays to the last gasp. There's never this lazy moment or a misstep. She's locked in. I love her. She's quickly become my defensive darling. And I'm not usually tooting horns for defenders. I'm very big on my midfielders.
Usually pretty quiet about the defense. So bring the horns on. Okay, we have to do score predictions. Just see who's right, see who's wrong. Let us know in the chat your scoreline prediction. USA against the Netherlands. Sandra, I'm starting with you first.
Give me some goals. And give me that sweet, sweet, clean sheet. Let's go 2-0 USA.
Ooh, goal.
I like it. Oh man, I'm gonna go 2-1. I want to say, like, I'm gonna be conservative, just as I did with my little lineup there. I'm gonna say 2-1. Maybe they get one off. But I need to see goals this game. If we end up with a 0-0 draw again, I'm walking into the sea.
And we need to see goals. I just don't think it's going to happen. 1-0 USA get a win. They get a
Fair.
win
Ooh.
and they get a
Fair.
clean
I
sheet.
think that's fair.
1-0.
Oh,
1-0.
SD Miller calling out Shaw with the single goal. Let's see.
People
Ooh,
putting goal
perhaps.
scorers in the chat. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're even dropping goal scores.
I love
Molly,
Marta hat trick, Molly girl. I love where your head's at. That's wild.
Love
oh,
it.
that's amazing. Hey, she almost got there.
Uh-huh.
Girl, get on the defensive train, Christine. Okay, guys, this is awesome. USA against the Netherlands. It happens Tuesday, 2:35 p.m. Eastern time kickoff, and then immediately following the match at 5:30 p.m. Join us right here, youtube.com/attacking third for a full preview. Come back, let us know what your scoreline prediction was, and let us know if you were right or if you were very, very wrong, because we love to be right, but we also know we're mostly wrong. Don't go anywhere. We are chatting FIFA's best nominees next. Stick with us. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third. It has dropped. FIFA has announced their best nominees. It's a slew of different awards, and they've given, I don't know, everyone that's ever played soccer feels like a nominee.
Oh, I'm in there, right? I'm in there. I'm definitely in there. Give me the Marta award.
Congratulations to Christine. No, for reals. There are a lot of nominees for a lot of different ones, and we're going to talk about them. Let's start with the first one, FIFA's Marta Award. A lot of nominees in this one, 5 Americans. So I'll give those shout outs. Naomi Girma, Lindsay Horan, Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson, some other key names in this: Barbara Banda, Onya Batal, Atina Bonmati, Lucy Bronze, Mariona Caldente, Tabitha Shawinga, Carolyn Graham Hansen, Lauren Hemp, Selma Pariuelo, Kadisha Bunny Shaw, and Kira Walsh. Sandra, when these names dropped, how long did it take you to read them? No, for reals. Who stands out to you? Who's going to get the Marta Award?
Pretty long, not gonna lie, but I mean, a pretty good mix of nominees here. And listen, it's the Marta Award for a reason. I have to feel like maybe a more attacking player could walk away with this award. But if folks out there know ball, and if the voting on this is to measure from August 2023 to August 2024. Maybe Naomi Girma gets in and breaks through into this one. We'll see. I'd love to see it.
Do you think that'll actually happen though?
No, do I think it'll actually happen? No, of course, we want to be right here, Lisa. So I mean, I would imagine that maybe if there's front runners, I think a lot of folks are maybe going to go off of name recognition. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bonmati it walks away with this one. But I'd also really like to see Carolyn Graham Hansen walk away with a type of award like this year. I thought she's had a phenomenal year from, again, last August to this August. And I would argue has maybe surpassed a little bit in certain levels and stretches of the year. Bonmati, when it comes to looking at Barca and a measured approach and how they've taken things game by game. And Hansen is absolutely maybe even rivaled her own teammate as far as level of importance to a squad. So perhaps maybe this is the one that Carolyn Graham Hansen gets after missing out on Ballon d'Or.
Christine, for you, I mean, Aitana Bonmati, she won the Ballon d'Or, and now she's nominated for this too. Is it going to be the same? Like, is that how this is going to roll? What's going to happen with these awards?
I feel like there's usually like little deviation. I feel like it's pretty much like, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Bonmati got it as well. But also I was like watching back the like Marta Award like goal nominees, and some of them I'm like, yeah, that's a nice goal, but I don't know, I like to see some deviation. Like there's a lot more, like, granted you're nominating like 100 players, it's hard to call that, but like, like, would be nice to see like a Shawinga shout.
Yeah. It's also nominated or it's voted on differently, right? Ballon d'Or is media personnel, and the winners of FIFA the Best Football Awards are decided by fans, current players, and then coaches of national teams, plus some media representatives. So there's a bit of a mix in who gets in this. I don't think there are any snubs, frankly, from this.
How could
FIFA's
you snub
markup.
anybody? Everybody's included.
Right,
Yeah.
everyone's in this. I think the shout for Caroline Graham-Hansen is really, really good. This is a player that could have won the Ballon d'Or, probably should have. Aitana Bonmatí has just been tremendous though this year with all she's done. I don't think it'll go to an American. I'll say that much. As much as I want it to go to Naomi Girma, I don't think it will because of how this is voted on. Who knows? We'll see. They've also dropped the nominees for FIFA's best 11 and the forwards, right? We're going to take this position by position because that's just the best way for us to digest it. The best 11 forwards, again, a whole slew of names nominated for these. Sandra, who stands out to you on this list?
Well, obviously, I'm gonna go with the players who sharpen their skills in NWSL. Barbara Banda and Chiu kind of stand out for me the most. I mean, we've got to see their incredible impact on the pitch for their respective clubs. But I think it also goes without saying that when you're looking at maybe Europe, maybe you're also taking a look at Mayra Ramirez and what she's done. Obviously, I'm high on Graham-Hansen. This is a player for me that I think is going to maybe walk away with some hardware for the FIFA best.
Christine, how cool is it that both Temwa Shawinga and Tabitha Shawinga are nominated this award? Think there's any sibling rivalry there?
I love it. I'm sure there's probably some like undercurrent of sibling rivalry while outwardly they're like, oh yes, this is lovely. Like we're besties. Are you kidding me? If I had to play with my sibling or against my sibling, maybe calling the cops. But I would love that. And I know the chat has been popping off a little bit about like, hey, I hope we get to see like Tabitha in NWSL.
No.
And personally, yes, like
Fingers
Black
crossed.
Goat did try to bring her years back, but the landscape was different in NWSL, salary caps, different rules and whatnot. So I wouldn't be shocked if they revisit that conversation upcoming.
A couple of Americans also nominated in FIFA's Best 11 as the forwards: Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, Mallory Swanson. A lot of NWSL players in this mix as well. Adriana Banda.
Love to see it. I love Adriana.
Love to see it. I know. Adriana is a very good shout. Kudananji is also in this mix.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good
Rudy.
players. Caroline. Exactly. A lot of Brazilians, a lot of NWSL players. This is fun. I like this one. That forward group is a good one. Let's chat midfielders, though. FIFA's Best 11 midfielders, equally as many people nominated in this one. NWSL players as well. Christine, who stands out to you from this list?
Just adding like a bit of diversity here. Like I love to see Guru Wrighton get on there because she's been outstanding. Giuliano for Roma has just been an absolute force. I feel like we don't talk about them a lot just because like Serie A Femminile doesn't get a lot of love. But Coffee pulling up. I love that she's in that mix. Like she is a powerhouse. Like she really, really is. I feel like she still doesn't get enough of her flowers for the amount of work that she can get done just defensively and also like creating an impact in the attack.
Sam Coffey
Kira,
and Lindsay
Kira
Moran.
Walsh, like I mean, of course she's in there. That's not really a surprise. Yeah, Hasegawa and then Kumagai, who both deserve shouts. Again, I feel like just because national team wise, they just don't get the amount of love that they deserve. But like club, they definitely deserve the hype.
Yeah, Jules Brand getting the shout. The German international.
David Frazier with the absolute taste. Yeah, New Skin is amazing.
Yeah, Sandra, that's your shout for Brand.
Oh yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Throwback to the Olympics when looking at the groups and how they were broken down and all of the chatter around how that team was going to function and missing such a key player, and they said Brand's got this. So I'm high on Brand and so I love that she's getting the shout here. And I mean, look, I'm in agreement with all the players that Cupo and you have touched on already. But maybe also special shout out to Toletti, Sandy Toletti, and who is a standout on a couple of teams that are kind of going through some things and trying to find their way over the last year, whether it's for France or for Real Madrid. Let's be real. So I think that she's kind of been that bright spot amongst teams that are maybe trying to figure it out through the gray areas, and maybe that's for her efforts. She's getting recognized with this nomination, and I mean maybe similar sentiments can be said for Quinn and their efforts and what they've done across the board. I mean, talk about a tough year, whether it's been for Canada or for Seattle Reign. And it's hard to maybe stand out when the headlines around your team are not exactly positive. But Quinn was out there doing it weekend.
Not even positive and negative, but winning. It's hard to be a standout player when your team is not winning, not picking up anything. Quinn, definitely one of those players that has struggled through that. They did it internationally and with club.
Mhm.
All right. Attacking thirds, probably favorite. I'm going to be biased.
Yeah.
Category FIFA's best 11 defenders. 2 Americans nominated in this mix. Naomi Girma, of course, and Emily Fox in this mix as well. Sandra, we got to give the defense some love, but who stands out of this group in this mix of the defenders?
Yeah, 100% Fox, 100% Girma. I'm with you. Look, we want to see these Americans on that best 11, but gotta give some love to Lawrence as well. High on this player, thought that she's able to create an impact for her team. I think folks are gonna say, okay, McCabe out there doing it, but Jess Carter for me, really, I'm loving it. Obviously got to see her, keep things together for Gotham, but even coming off of this last game with England going up against the United States, just showing what she's got and what she's about and how she can really bring it on the pitch. So just Carter for me as well.
I like that shout. Lucy Bronze, Nellie Bright. These are players for me that have been outstanding this year. Naomi Girma, though, if she doesn't win the Marta Award, maybe she'll get best defender.
Maybe. Okay.
Christine, any defenders you want to shout or anyone missing?
Yeah, I do actually. I gotta go, Gvin.
Yeah.
She is so good on and off the ball. Really, really smart passer, able to get involved in the attack, and just she's a little bit of a bruiser. I love her.
Good shout.
She really, really deserves all the hype for sure.
A lot of people giving some love to Vanessa Gilles as well in the chat as the player that has done a really good job internationally with Canada and also with club. So she is in this mix of defenders. Okay, goalkeeper of the year. This one, hey, not as many nominees, but still
look at that.
A lot. And Katrin Berger, Cole, Mary Earps, Endler, Hampton, Lorena Musovic, Nair, Panos, Sheridan, and Yashaide. Alyssa Nair is in there. She's in the mix. We do get our American saying goodbye to the game, Mary Earps as well in this one. Christine, any standouts for you for goalkeeper of the year?
I mean, I feel like this is hard because obviously you want to go with pure skill and otherwise, but AKB, man, she really had an outstanding season. I mean, both club and country, some of the saves that she makes are the unsavables that you're just jaw on the floor. Really, really great. And also just the way that she's utilized is kind of that more complete keeper that we've kind of seen this evolution of she essentially serves as a stopper sometimes for Gotham. Really, really talented, well-rounded keeper.
Berger could win this one. I could see it happening, Sandra.
I would be disappointed if it's not Nair. Unserious award for me. If it's not Alyssa Nair, you've got to be absolutely bonkers. You've got to
be okay with that. I'm okay with that. I will not be heartbroken if Nair pulls up or Berger.
If Berger, yes, I would get it, but I would still be unserious. Alyssa Nair, she's riding off into the sunset on an incredible year. And we're talking post World Cup round of 16 exit that quite literally changed her entire DNA.
It did. Hey,
It
she
changed
saved it.
her entire DNA. And she went back to work and said, this is not happening again. And showed it multiple times throughout the course from August 2023 to August 2024. Alyssa Nair for me.
Well, January, we'll find out. That's when this ceremony is happening and everything. There's also the Women's Best Coach 2024 nominees. A lot of different coaches nominated in this one. Quickly, Sandra, any shouts for you who deserves this, or maybe who got snubbed, who's not in this list for Coach of the Year?
In Hayes we trust. I'm going with Hayes. I would have loved to have seen Steph Hydes on there, but glad that Emma Hayes is on there.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Damn. I mean, yeah, a lot of these coaches really had absolute standout years. Excuse me. Artur Elias, Geraldes for sure. I mean,
Yeah, Geraldes had
coaching
a great
not
year.
one but two really successful teams. But yeah, I think the conversation starts and ends with Emma Hayes.
It has to be Emma Hayes, not only winning with Chelsea in the Super League, but then taking the American
Olympic gold same year.
Olympic
Come
gold.
on.
It's
Yeah.
insane. It has to go to Emma Hayes. Okay, it begs the question after we go through all of these FIFA, the best nominees, and a question I had, Sandra, I'm tossing it to you because you know all. What the heck is the difference between FIFA's Player of the Year and a Ballon d'Or?
Oh my goodness. I hate to simplify it. I think when we have our conversations about this, I'm just going to bring it on to the pod. But for me, a huge part of this is an I feel statement. It's a Sandra opinion for sure. But for me, there's a little bit more seriousness around one award than the other. I think when we're looking at FIFA, this has been established for a long time. There has been recognition over the course of decades, really. And Ballon d'Or has kind of just arrived, and they are still sort of trying to figure things out. There's also a difference in the voting processes for both of these awards. And I think with that comes that feeling of one is perhaps maybe a little bit more prestigious than the other. I think at the end of the day, they are both awards that players who get nominated for them will want to win. And they are tangible things that you can point at and say, here's something that I won. But as far as the layer of seriousness, I think there's one that ranks higher than the other at this moment, and it's the awards that roll out for FIFA.
You heard it here first, Sandra Baum. I love it. Sandra, thanks for filling us in on all of it. And those are your nominees, guys. But don't go anywhere. In case you missed it, there's a lot of news that has happened. We are breaking it all down. Stick with us. Welcome back to Attacking Third. In case you missed it, news and notes. We're filling you in on everything that has been happening. And let's start with some exciting, bittersweet news. Orlando Pride defender Carrie Lawrence has announced her retirement from professional soccer. She goes out on top, hands down. She won the Shield this year with Orlando and the championship. It's been a heck of a career, Carrie Lawrence. Congratulations. Good luck in this next chapter. Run with it. Enjoy it. Go sit on a beach and have a nice pina colada and relax. Don't go on any more runs or beep tests. In college soccer, the NCAA Women's College Cup semifinals, they are set. We teed you up for them, and this is how it all went down. Duke defeated Virginia Tech 1-0. UNC beat Penn State. This was an overtime 2-1 win. Very controversial handball there on the UNC goal. Ultimately, North Carolina advances. Stanford, they beat Notre Dame 2-0, and Wake Forest defeated USC, Southern California, in penalties. It finished 2-2 at the end of double overtime, and Wake Forest ultimately took it. So now we will see number 1 Duke against number 2 UNC, and then number 2 Wake Forest against number 3 Stanford. Those games are happening Friday, December 6th at 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The national championship, it is set for Monday, December 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, of course, in Cary, North Carolina, where it mostly is all the time. We got big picks here, big teams, of course, the powerhouses continuing to run through it. Thanks everyone so much for joining us. Don't forget, U.S. Women's National Team, they take on the Netherlands Tuesday afternoon, and immediately following, you can get a live recap right here on Attacking Third. Sandra, final thoughts for the people before we send them off?
Wake Forest. Go out there and get it. Go out there and take it.
Not at all what I thought you were going to say. Amazing. Christine, final thoughts from you.
Smooches chat. Y'all are the realest. I like chatting with you guys, so come back and do it again. Tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day.
If you were distracted by Christine on the show, it's because she's been chatting with everyone in the chat, doing her best to keep it lively. Yes, you are chatting with the real Christine Cupo in the chat. Watch college football because the national championship is going to be so good this week. Tune into the U.S. Women's National Team tomorrow against the Netherlands, and then we'll recap it here with you. Thanks, guys. Have a fantastic week. Make sure you follow Attacking Third wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Watch us on YouTube and on CBS Sports Golazo Network. For Christine, Sandra, and Mark, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.